Hello and welcome to a post-holiday episode of Bodied, a Cloud9 Fancast. I'm your host Havokpus, and I'm joined with Frozencreek.
Havoc, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was okay.
That sounds like every Thanksgiving. That is what I hope a Thanksgiving would be.
Yes, the ideal Thanksgiving. How was yours? Did you do anything special or just?
I went to my girlfriend's parents' house, so that was about it. And
Okay,
I'm not exhibiting any symptoms of COVID yet, so I think I'm okay.
that's good. Good to hear.
Yeah, so I do have to take a quick break during this episode, which we will completely edit out because I'm making bread. So
Well, everyone is having to make that bread, you know.
if anyone wants to talk about bread making, hit me up.
Well, we may put that in later. You can give us maybe your recipe in the description. But we got to talk about some Cloud9 stuff. The CS:GO team is getting a bit better. They finished top 4 in the most recent Blast Pro Series event. They made it to the semifinals, and recently they have won, their matches or whatever to qualify for the playoffs for the current DreamHack Masters event that's going on. So the team is looking better. I'm not sure if you watched any of the CS games.
Yeah, I did get to watch a little bit of one of the ones they lost. They had a big comeback. I want to say it was against Mouse.
Yeah, they lost against Mouse. They're it's interesting because they definitely have like sort of the individual skill to do things, but it seems that strategically and like working as a team, they're not there yet. So it seems like they're kind of struggling in bits where they just struggle with, like trying to figure out what to do and everything.
Yeah, which I guess isn't that surprising because they've still been I think they're still remote, aren't they? Because they
I think
showed
so, yeah.
videos and they were all sitting in different environments.
Yeah.
I did notice that I think it was Mouse. All of them had their monitors up really high.
I never noticed that. Though it could be, I'm not sure if it's like a pro thing or what.
And I think it was only like one or two of them were like looking up at their screen, which is weird to me, but maybe it's more ergonomical than looking down, which I guess is something I should look into because I need to worry about my body. I'm getting old.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the ergonomic sciences, but the team is looking better. We're starting to actually get, we're getting some wins, and we seem to be playing better and better. So hopefully within a few months we'll actually have a lot of stuff down and we can actually play close to operating form.
Yeah, there's been a lot of money spent on this lineup, so I have to imagine that they are expecting a lot more from these guys.
Yeah, for sure. But hopefully they'll succeed. I guess moving on to Valorant, we have, I guess, maybe more to talk about. So C9 Blue has failed to qualify for the First Strike event. And for those that don't know, the First Strike event it's kind of like a major. It's a really big event. There were a lot of like qualifiers that teams had to go through in order to attend it. Cloud9 Blue was first place in, I think it was maybe the first open qualifier. And that allowed them to go to a closed qualifier, but they lost that. And then they lost another one, so they failed to qualify for First Strike, which is kind of a problem considering that Cloud9 Blue has arguably the best individual player in the game in the world currently.
Yeah, it was quite surprising that they weren't able to qualify. They walked through that first tournament. I don't the open qualifier. They pretty much walked right through it. They beat TSM. They beat the slimy Boogermen and did everything that you would expect. But since then, they've fallen off the map, kind of.
Yeah, and I've noticed also that they're not using their normal strategies. They're not playing Breach anymore, which they used to be like really good at executing Breach strategies. They're trying to use Sova, which they seem to really kind of struggle with since it's taking away. They seem to excel when they have at least like maybe like 3 duelists, but they haven't been doing that. They've been using Sova, which kind of takes away some of their entry power. Tens I think is just playing Jet, and I think he's really good in Reyna. And it's weird that we're not using Reyna and a Jet on some maps, and I think they maybe stated that in scrims their usual strategies weren't working, so they were trying to make other things work, and that's just it didn't work either. So they seem to just be kind of floundering about. Recently, the head coach Chu, he actually did step down. I think he maybe just retired like completely. So, James RRL is once again a head coach for Cloud9. He was actually at one point a CS:GO coach back when we were just sort of a revolving door of people going in and out. So he's our head coach again, and there's even rumors of us maybe replacing a player and bringing in Profi, who is actually I think a PUBG player who played for us.
Interesting. I guess as long as he's used to a rotating door of players, then I think he might fit in okay as we try and remake this roster for the next major tournament.
Yeah. Profi is a good player in Valorant. I've heard he's one of the better players that in the scene right now. My issue is exactly like who do you let go? Shinobi is probably the obvious answer. Everyone says that he's sort of underperforming and he's really not pulling his weight. Others are pointing to maybe Vice or Mitch. I think they're kind of either or. One day Mitch will do well and then Vice will struggle, and then Vice will do well and Mitch will struggle. But they're kind of not doing, they're kind of hot and cold. So really the issue is that if Tens isn't having a good day and he isn't firing all cylinders, the team is just screwed. Because like Relics can frag out and Relics can play well, but he can't play to the excess that Tens can. So Relics is trying his best, and then you just have these 3 anchors essentially that are kind of weighing the team down strategically and from a gameplay standpoint. And you just don't have enough firepower, to push through when your best player either isn't having a good day or, he can't do it all himself. So I think that's a big issue, and that's something that they probably need to change. I'm surprised they maybe kind of made it this long with just the strategy of Tens killing everybody and Tens winning the game for them.
Yeah, and as long as like the game evolves, like players are going to get better and better, and it's harder for Tens to keep that gap among the people who are behind him. So it's not all that surprising that Cloud9 is faltering a little bit.
Yeah, and I think another issue is just in Tens' play style. Tens is very much I'm going to jump in and I'm going to shoot everybody. I'm going to get as many kills as possible. Sometimes the sort of the shock and awe super aggressive approach works, but other times it doesn't. And when it doesn't, you don't have a fallback of, okay, I just need to play slower. Usually that type of player, they're just going to try and continue to make plays, and they just get more frustrated because their plays aren't working. So I think you need really someone you need players who are more strategic and can play around Tens' ability to go in super fast and try to make a bunch of crazy plays. And you need people that can hit shots and be consistent for when your super, super good player isn't being consistent.
Yeah, EA team's not built around one guy, so yeah, they really need some guys to step up big now because yeah, they've shown that while Tens can carry them, he can't carry them every game.
Yeah, it's there's definitely probably going to be some changes. I think failing to qualify for first strike after even winning that open qualifier and coming in first for that, I think that's kind of unacceptable. So I imagine we'll see some changes between now and whenever the next big event is. But we'll just have to see. I think in terms of C9 White, they lost a couple more matches. The gals are kind of struggling. I haven't been able to watch them. I think the last 2 or so have been just off stream, so I wasn't able to watch them actually play. But hopefully the white team can pull it up. There is some good news for Cloud9 Valorant fans. The Korean squad did not only qualify for first strike, but they won their first match today, and they have moved on to the semifinals of the Korea first strike tournament. So at least there's a silver lining there.
Yeah, I was looking at Twitch streams this morning, and I didn't realize that we were playing it, but I saw that first strike was going on, and I'm kind of upset. I missed it because I was
asleep when their first match happened, and or the first game in their match, and they actually 13-0'd the team that they were playing against. It was one of the few 13-0s in a major tournament in sort of competitive Valorant history. So that's pretty good from us.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But hold on, let me see if I can find. I just want to see if there's any indication of who we play next. Okay. Oh, we play Vision Strikers. That'll be good. Vision Strikers are one of the super strong Korean teams. So hopefully the squad will pop off and be able to win.
Yeah. How is Korea supposed to measure up to NA and such in Valorant?
That's actually a good question. We honestly can't say for sure since we don't have any sort of international tournaments to really see which region is stronger. At least from indications right now, it seems that Europe is probably the strongest region by far. In terms of who's second, I'm not sure. You know, you have North America, who has a really big competitive scene right now, and there's just so many teams that are popping up and participating at events. And you have Korea. Japan actually also has a pretty big scene. I think Japan was actually one of the first, countries to actually start heavily, participating in Valorant. So, we'll just have to see. I'm really curious to see how the international competition would fare once we can actually get a competitive LAN going.
Yeah, is there supposed to be a world's tournament?
I don't know. Their system's kind of up in the air right now. So I'm not sure exactly if there's going to be a world's event or not.
That would be sweet. You even if it wasn't quite on LAN.
Yeah, I'd still watch that just to see how teams fare against one another.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be like a summer thing next year.
Yeah, totally. I could definitely see a big summer event going on. All right, well, we should probably move on to League of Legends, and we have probably some of the biggest news that happened this offseason as Cloud9 was able to secure the signing of G2's perks.
Yeah, it wasn't a very well kept secret, but it is I mean, I don't think you can overstate what this signing means to Cloud9 and North American League of Legends, because Perks has kind of just been the best player in the West for 2-3 years now, and he's now on cloud 9.
Yeah, and I think it's not so much that it was a secret, but more I think there was a lot of uncertainty if the deal would actually come through. You know, Perks had a very big contract, and you know, from a monetary standpoint, you know, you have to make sure you can fit that stipulation. And according to Jack, he was also sitting down with Perks and like going through just all of these bullet points on what Perks really wanted, you know, to make sure that Cloud9 was a good fit for him. And you know, Jack was, I think, maybe talking to him like every day, maybe every other day, just being like, okay, you know, here's kind of what you want to do. Here's, you know, how we're going to try to do things. You know, we're going to do this and this and this. And it seemed that Jack was able to, you know, ultimately sell Perks on the idea of being on Cloud9. And it's honestly an incredibly big signing, just in that, you know, like you said, he is like one of the best Western mid lane players in the world, and to have someone of that skill level come in on Cloud9 when you have, you know, you have his old teammate in Sven, he's probably excited to play with him. You also have sort of newer-ish players. Vulcan's kind of new. You know, Blabber, he has played for a few years now, but I think this was his full year actually just legit starting, right? Instead of splitting time with another player. Yeah, so this was Blabber's actual first year of playing legitimately, I guess you could say. You know, and Fudge, you know, Fudge has played in the OPL for a little bit, so it's not like he's new to competitive play. You know, I think before he came over here, he even won the OPL championship on his team. But I think that, you know, this is Fudge's first time in sort of playing in a major region, quote unquote. So I think that the leadership and the knowledge that he has can just really help elevate the team and help everyone improve just across the board. And I think this is an incredible signing.
Yeah, and I think he's been meaning a little bit, but Perks seems excited to play with Fudge. I think he said on a stream either today or yesterday that Fudge was going to take Shy's
yeah, I saw that.
Pronoun I don't think it's
yeah,
pronoun.
he said instead of the Shy would be the Fudge.
Yeah, and so I'm sure he doesn't, or I think League of Legends is in Europe right now. I think I saw Vulcan on Niski's stream.
Maybe it could be. I think Sven. I think Sven might be in Denmark, or he might be in Europe, and so, you know, of course, you know, Vulcan and Sven are going to probably try to boot camp and play as much as they can together, which I've always respected that out of them, that they're always willing to just, you know, try to play together and try to get as, you know, good as they can in preparation for the upcoming season. So that's really good. I'm really curious at how we're gonna play. You know, Perks can play almost anything. So I think in terms of champion pool and everything, we're not gonna have any sort of issues. You know, I think I mentioned this last time, but I'm curious how we're gonna line up strategically, since Blabber is kind of the insane go button. You know, if Perks is gonna try to keep him on a leash and make it so he doesn't go in as much, or what. I could definitely see Perks kind of being the shot caller, since, you know, he just has so much experience, and everyone just kind of playing around what he wants the team to do.
Yeah, and I also think it is important to have Sven on the team for him too, and that they're both experienced on the international stage in Europe, and hopefully now in North in America for both of them. So I'm assuming that a relationship is going to be big for their in-game teamwork.
Yeah, that's going to be really important, just in making sure that everyone, you know, is kind of gelling well. You know, they've played together before, so that's at least one box that you don't have to worry about getting checked off. I'm more curious about how other teams will face up against us. There have been a lot of crazy changes from pretty much every team going into this next season. I haven't made a spreadsheet yet, kind of outlining everything for our preseason episode, but a lot of teams are making a lot of changes. Who is TSM's mid laner? I can't remember.
A power of evil.
Right, Power of Evil. For some reason, I was thinking a Blazall, but I'm like, no, that's not right.
Or Eve, even though Perks was like the highest profile signing, I think TSM signings sorta might be the best signing.
The TSM's performance is going to be really interesting because Bjergsen has moved to coach, and this will be his first season as coach. He isn't doing like what Reignover did, where he was able to kind of get his feet wet in being sort of a role coach and then coaching an academy for a year to make sure he understands and can perform as a head coach. Bjergsen's just, I'm going to be a coach now. So you have Bjergsen having to get used to being a coach. And you also don't have Doublelift. Doublelift has retired, and Lost will be their new AD carry. So will be interesting to see if it'll be interesting to see how the team actually performs, because this team really is now built around Spica. Spica seems is the only mainstay of the roster now.
Which is odd for a TSM team.
Yeah, exactly. Usually they're like trying to swap out a jungler every
single year.
But it's interesting. I'm actually going to be keeping an eye on them. CLG is revamping their roster to something that actually looks competitive.
More competitive.
More competitive.
Sorry,
probably a better word.
A competitive roster, not a winning roster.
Yeah, that's what I want to go for. You have you even have like, isn't Golden Guardians doing like some big like rookie Mad Lion strategy where they're just bringing in a bunch of rookies and seeing what they can do with that?
Yeah.
I think that could at least be interesting.
And FlyQuest destroyed their roster and might have built a better one somehow.
Yeah. I think also 100 Thieves also leveled up with the signings that they made. So this offseason actually had a lot of really awesome moves from a lot of teams to make next year actually really fun to watch. I think this year it was maybe not as entertaining because it was like you had maybe 4 teams that were like, okay, these are probably the 4 teams that you're probably going to want to watch, and everyone else was just kind of eh.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. We are still probably 2 months away from.
Yeah, I think so.
And we haven't heard any changes to the season at all. Like Travis said that they were gonna make it one long thing as opposed to 2 splits.
I thought has that been official, or was that just a rumor?
I think it was just Travis's rumor. I don't think it's been announced by Riot yet, but I could be wrong, I guess.
I'm not sure. I thought that was officially what was going to happen, was it would just be one long year.
I hope so.
It will be definitely interesting because I think players will maybe like it because it ensures that they're staying competitive all year round rather than just waiting for summer. Because I think a lot of teams seem to zone out during the spring because MSI doesn't really matter. And the spring spread as a whole kind of doesn't matter. So it'll be interesting to see how that shapes out. I'm really curious how the teams are going to adapt to all these new items, because right now there's some really broken things that Riot really needs to fix actually before we have any sort of official competitive things going on. Because like some tank items are super busted, like Sunfire's Aegis is just absolutely broken. Champions that you wouldn't expect to be strong are strong now because they got buffs through items and whatnot. So anyone that has a dash just feels incredibly overpowered because they can just stick on you forever, and with the new items just kill you so easily. And it's just really stupid, and in some ways it kind of feels anti-fun.
Yeah, it is super early, but there are some broken champions. I am kind of excited to see Lilia be like insanely strong as opposed to just strong, because it opens up a lot of new lane matchups, like Yasuo and what's his face mid, the Yasuo lookalike.
Oh, Yone? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name, but stuff like that kind of opens up Talon, who's strong. Jin is OP, but he's not going to go mid.
Jin and Misfortune are actually like insanely strong, to the point to where they really need to change probably a lot of the lethality items because of how easily they're able to dump an insane amount of damage onto a target.
Yeah, but it's early though, so there's plenty of time to fix that. I am not a huge fan of the item rework, but it is what it is. I don't really care that much.
I have mixed feelings on it. I like some items, I don't like others, but hopefully things will stabilize since this is the preseason. And hopefully it'll get good. I guess one last thing, if you're finished talking about items and stuff, we did actually sign an amateur team. So I think this is a push within the NALCS to, we really want to try to breed more North American talent, because, this year there was this big issue of you're having a lot of these players that are staying on teams, just playing poorly, yet they're being, they're causing academy players to get overlooked. They're causing other players that are really good to just go unsigned and get overlooked. And this is also, I think, due to what 100 Thieves are doing with the 100 Next team. I believe that's what they're called. It's not their academy team, but the rung below that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I think it's really dope that Cloud9's kind of following those footsteps, and we've signed this amateur roster. And good to know, we've never heard of any of these people. We have Speedo in the top lane, XU in jungle, Captain Shrimps in the mid lane, Wixie at AD carry, and Tempos in support with Tails as the coach. I've never heard of any of these people, and that's great to see. Because you shouldn't have any recognizable names in the amateur in league like at all.
I feel like I might not be familiar, but I think I've watched Tempos play before, but I don't remember where. But all the other ones, no clue. But I have high hopes for Captain Shrimps just based on his name.
Yeah, I'm hoping we see a lot of really cool stuff from the amateur team. I think with the amateur team, and similar to the academy thing, I think it's not so much winning, but improving these players and ensuring that they can improve over the course of playing on C9 to where, hey, they can step up then and play in academy. They can, get even better there and then play in the LCS, and kind of stair step their way up. And it's really good to see that we're sort of continuing our tradition of trying to foster the next sort of great North American talent to then sell out their contracts for twice as much as they were worth originally.
Hell yeah, brother. But realistically, we might never see any of these guys in academy because we don't know what to expect from this amateur setup yet. But I have hopes that maybe we can get one or two into our academy at some point. It sounds like Tempos is from maybe Iowa State or Indiana State. I'm not sure what ISU it is based on the subreddit comments, but still pretty hype. I feel like this amateur scene is going to be good for college players, and it's going to be interesting to see how they mix between amateur and college, because a lot of these college kids are coming out a little too old to be like prime LCS age. So if Tempos is indeed a college kid, then that's pretty good.
Yeah. I think that ultimately, as a whole, this is just get their names out there. They play some. If they can improve, that's great. And see where it goes from there. But I'm excited. I don't know when they play next. But hopefully we'll have some some matches soon. We get to see him play, and it'll be a good time.
Yeah, and I know that we're quite a bit out, but I still can't wait because I want to see this new roster.
Yeah, same here. But I don't have anything left to say. So unless you have anything, I can sign us out.
Nope, that's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to another episode of Bodied, a Cloud9 fan cast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at C9Bodied, and we'll see you again when we see you. We may not see you until after the Christmas holidays. It kind of depends on what happens in the next few weeks. But
yeah,
regardless,
we like to YOLO this stuff.
Yeah, we don't really have a schedule in the off season. It's sort of whenever things happen. But until then, thanks for listening, and we'll see you later.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.